So this tip is about constructing a formula that is going to automatically count items in a list. I'm going to begin by using the count A function. And the other part of this tip really is how you go about building a complex formula. And the way I generally do it is to begin with the centermost portion of the function and then build your way out. So the center of this function or this formula contains the count A function. So inputting the count A function into this cell and referencing cell C9, Control Enter, the count A function returns a 1. The count A function returns a number of cells in a reference that contains text. I've referenced one cell that contains text. The count A function returns a 1. So what I want to do now is control the range that the count A function is looking into. I'm going to press F4 and make that the starting point of a range that's going to extend from C9 absolutely to C9 relatively. Control Enter. I still only get a 1 because the range is only referencing one cell. But when I copy this down to Ringo, the count A function now returns a 2 because the range is extended one row every time I copy this formula down. So if I copy it down 2 more rows, I'm referencing John, and John is number 3. So that's the core of this function, or this formula that we're constructing. The next thing I want to do is add a logical statement, an if statement, to test as to whether there is content in that cell or not. And the way you do that is to test for the cell being not equal to blank. 2 character spaces is a blank. So if it's not equal to blank, it's equal to something other than blank, which in this case it's Paul. And the count A function will return the number 1. I'm also going to add a period at the end of the number, or if the condition isn't satisfied, so C9 does equal blank, I want this to return a blank. Closing the parentheses, Control Enter. So now I get my 1, and copying this down one row, I get a blank return because the value in the cell to the left, C10, is blank. So the formula isn't going to execute the count A function. It's going to return the alternative, which is a blank. Copying this down to the bottom, we now have numbered the items in that list. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Paul, Ringo, John, and George.